Well, all right, y'all. All across the USC, Compton, Watts, Bay to LA, Pomona, California, from valley to valley, we represent that killer Cali. So if you keeping it real on your side of your town, you tune in to Gangsta Chronicles.
Gangsta Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangsta Chronicles, this is not your average show.
You're now tuned into the real MC8, Big James, and Big Steel.
This is strictly from the streets.
Hello.
We represent the James.
We're glad to have you because this is your first interview ever.
This is the first interview I've done in 40 years. I have never done an interview before a variety of reasons. And one of the main reason was because when I was working with Sheppard Lane and we had all the success that we had, I was threatened by kidnappings every week. Not only was I threatened by kidnappings, we had 18 murders, including my closest friend, Vince, who traveled with me for many years from Compton. And I love that man. And so many people that I knew over at Deathrow and at Sheppard Lane are now dead. And when I look back, I think of the violence that occurred all across Compton, and it's sickening. And right now, it's still the same thing. I was told by my contacts in Compton, don't even come there now. Don't even tell people to come there because there's a violent conflict going on across the city.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and so I'm tapped in from Kelly Park on down to Ludus Park. So there's nobody I don't know. And if I don't know you as a shot caller, the people next to me know you and I can at least talk to you. So in Los Angeles, people must understand across the world, there's something different about Compton. Compton, as explained to me, is an entity into itself. And even in the prison system, Compton, both Pyrus and Crips bond together to protect one another. And they're not gonna let outsiders get anybody from Compton. They'll go, when it's in prison, they'll go back and deal with it later, but people from Compton have a way of sticking together, even in the prison system, that's different from anywhere in this world. And believe me, I've been involved in a lot of situations where I can compare it to things.
Stan, when you said Vince, you mean Vincent Buchanan?
Yes.
Oh man, that was my ride or die right there. That was my brother.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Vincent was the first person who came to me in a sit-down meeting and said, Stan, we need you. We want you to help with DJ Quik. Quik was in a difficult situation with Profile Records at the time. And I intervened. And I got Profile to back off some of the demands that they were making for Quik. Because one of my strong points is I am attorney-based. And when I say attorney-based, there's nothing that goes on in the music industry without the attorneys doing it. So I don't care if you're a president, I don't care what you do of your company, unless the attorneys say it's a done deal, it's not. So therefore, I'm saying that to say, I know just about everything that's going on with everybody's business because I'm that connected. And when I went to work with Sheppard Lane and doing what I was doing, Vincent was a person with tone that traveled with me all the time. And all of the people at Death Row, from Rock Chisholm down to, what's his name? Heron, all these guys. I used to go there all of the time because you know why, James? You know why, A? Because at that time, Capitol Records was trying to buy Deathrow. Nobody knew it. So Capitol Records gave me a deal, financed my label, nor did I find out what they were doing till after the deal was over. They gave me a label deal because they knew of my connection to Lee Ford and to Suge Knight.
That's Big West was there, wasn't he?
Where?
At Capitol Records.
Not when I was dealing with him. I was dealing directly with the chairman and the president. His name was Gary Gersh. And they called me behind the scenes to take the president of Capitol Records back and forth to meet Suge to negotiate the deal. That went on for about 2 months. We thought we had the deal done, but then Mr. Bronfman from MCA, the owner of Seagram's, flew in on a late night flight and closed the deal. So I was able to see everything up close and everybody up close. And so everybody at Deathrow, I knew very well. And because Lee Ford has so much clout, it was kind of easy to me. He introduced me, Norman, and Lee Ford introduced me to James. Now I manage James. So it's a situation where I just want to do whatever I can do to help, as I said before. But I also know how dirty this business is. And I know how to clean stuff up.
Right.
Because I'm attorney-based.
Exactly. And with that being said, Stan, you're the cleanup man, right? Which is initially why you were brought into this situation to help broker that deal between Capitol and Deathrow Records, right?
Yes, the president of Capitol and the chairman of Capitol could get Jimmy Iovine to the table, who was the owner of Interscope, who was distributing Deathrow at the time, but they couldn't get Suge to the table. So it was a deal that was going nowhere. So they offered us a percentage of whatever. If the deal went down, they paid us some money to go back and forth. But it didn't work out. And the cold-blooded thing about it, let me tell you how evil it is that, now remember, they hired me, told me all this good stuff. Oh, Stan, you're this and you're that. When the deal did not go through for Capitol, I went up to talk to them to say, hey, you know, I'm sorry it didn't work out. They banned me from the building.
They used to do that a lot back in the days.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
They banned me from the building because I had, quote unquote, gang connections. But these same gang connections that I had brought me to you to give me a multi-whatever deal for my first label. And understand something. My label was called G-Vine Entertainment. And it was the first hardcore rap music label in the history of Capitol Records. And I did the deal with DJ Battlecat. And as soon as the deal with Suge fell through, they banned me from the building and said I was a threat because I had access to Suge. My friend was Harry O for 27 years. I was involved with people from the streets that had clout, and they said, oh, he's too dangerous to be up in here, because if anything goes wrong, there's a problem. No, the reason they didn't want me up in there, James, 8 and Norm, is because I know how they run their games. I know what they do. I know how they cheat and steal. So when Stan comes in the room, we can't run these games on this fool right now. And they don't want to see me. But guess what? I'm quiet. I'm quiet in the background, and people call me, even from the major labels. Hey, Stan, we're dealing with so-and-so. We're dealing with so-and-so. Are they cool? This is a dirty business. It's a dirty business. And I don't trust anyone in this business because they will change. They will change on you. And in Los Angeles, if you're not connected to some Pyros or some Crips or some Bloods, you ain't got no clout. You got nothing. And the A&R directors don't want to deal with you. First thing they ask you, who you connected with? Who can you hook me up with? Norm, you know what I'm talking about. They do it to you all the time.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because when I was a A&R over at Minder Music, you know, when I'm signing artists, that's when I realized I thought I had some power, but I had a pen with no ink in it. Because everybody I brought in, from Kendrick Lamar and TDE to the producer Fingers, to Glasses Malone, to the Pussycat Dolls, they all turned me down for them. They all declined and said, where are your analytics at, right? And when I did get a deal with them, when I did get to push a deal through, the terms were so bad in these deals that I didn't want to pitch the deal no more.
Finally get a chance to let the real one